I was wrong about beans in the Instant Pot. Dead wrong. Last year I told you that cooking beans in the Instant Pot is risky business. Works for sturdy beans like black and pinto, but not for others like Cannellini and Great Northern. Well, turns out Instant Pot is the easiest and most reliable way to cook all beans, including those infamously delicate white beans. Okay, so what happened to change my mind? Well, Instant Pot kinda started sponsoring my channel. Gotcha! You know the deal. Not only are my opinions my own, but the money is my own too. Instant Pot is not sponsoring me, and I paid for my pot myself. Thank you very much. Here is the real story behind the beans. It all started with your wonderful comments. When I first got my Instant Pot, I played around with the pressure cooking settings for beans. I mean, that's how I cooked beans before, in a stovetop pressure cooker. So that made sense to me at the time. That didn't go very well. My stovetop pressure cooker worked a lot better. If you want to know more about my pressure cooking experiments, check out the link below this video. I have data, I have graphs. I was totally convinced that Instant Pot was not the answer to delicate beans. I mentioned that in the video where I reviewed the Instant Pot, and many of you told me to try the slow cooking setting. My initial reaction was, why would I want to babysit my beans for many hours? Beans are unpredictable. Even the same variety might cook longer or shorter depending on that year's harvest, or how old they were, or exactly how long you soaked them. With a pressure cooker, I only need to pay attention for 30 minutes or so. With a slow cooker, the cooking time could be a whole day, and I expected to pay attention for at least a couple of those hours. But my fears were completely unfounded. For my first test, I tried the forgiving pintos and made myself available to monitor their progress. They were done at 12 hours, but were fine at 13, 14, 15, and 16 hours. At 16 hours, I gave up and went to bed. It was a long day, my friends. So emboldened with my success, I tried all sorts of other beans. Almost all of them did well at 12-hour mark. The only ones that didn't were the thin-skinned white beans, Cannellini, Great Northern, and Navy. Those did well at about the 7-hour mark. And the beauty of Instant Pot versus a stovetop pressure cooker is that you don't need to be around. If your beans finish cooking at 3 in the morning or while you're at work, the pot will turn off all by itself. Another thing I was wrong about is soaking. I used to think that soaking beans was a must for 3 reasons. It helps them cook more evenly. It allows you to brine the beans in a salt solution, which reduces how much the skins burst, and it helps people digest beans. Many people, like me, have stomach aches from beans, and since I was getting stomach aches even with soaked beans, I didn't even consider the possibility of not soaking them. But then one day, I tried Cereces.com Instant Pot black bean soup made from unsoaked beans. Yes, the very one that I just made a video about. And nothing terrible happened. My stomach was fine. I also had an interesting experience that made me realize that the soaking duration actually affects the cooking time. I needed the same exact beans for class 2 days in a row. On one day, I soaked them for about 8 hours and on another day for 16 hours, and they came out completely differently given the same cooking time. Just like with anything bean related. Sometimes soaking helps and sometimes soaking hurts. If you are slow cooking the beans, that's like soaking and cooking all in one step. So for slow cooking, I don't soak. A quick word about digestion. I heard this theory on Chef Step's site that cooking beans for a very long time at a temperature below simmer, that's roughly 185 to 195 Fahrenheit, breaks down the starches and makes them easier to digest. I don't know how to test this. I'm sure it depends on each specific bean and on each specific person. But if you've been avoiding beans because of stomach issues, slow cooking is something to try. A quick word on settings. Instant Pot has 3 settings for slow cooking: less, normal, and more. Who came up with this? Wouldn't low, medium, and high be better terminology? More sounds like you want to cook it longer, but that's not what more means here. It means higher heat. More worked the best for me. Keep in mind that Instant Pot slow cooking temperatures are generally lower than most slow cooker temperatures. In a regular slow cooker, you might want to try medium or low because it's crucial not to let the water move. No boiling and not even simmering. That's what breaks the beans down, the motion of the water. Also be aware that there might be some differences between Instant Pot models. Oh, and I also noticed that the temperature listed in my manual didn't correspond to what my Instant Pot was actually doing. When I tested the water on the more setting, I got 194 Fahrenheit, but my manual said that it should have been 200 to 210 Fahrenheit. So the moral of the story is that your mileage might vary, but once you find the setting and time that works, cooking dry beans becomes a complete no-brainer. It's seriously less work than opening cans, and you get excellent broth. So believe it or not, I no longer cook beans in my stovetop pressure cooker. Now that you know the backstory, let's do it. I picked the most difficult beans for us to cook today. Great Northern. They break up if you look at them wrong. Some of them are broken right out of the bag. I usually remove the worst offenders. These are not heirloom beans. I got them in a regular supermarket for $1.50. Put a pound of rinsed beans into the Instant Pot or some other slow cooker. Add 8 cups of cold water and salt. I use 1.5 tablespoons of Diamond Crystal Kosher. For all other salts, including Morton's Kosher, cut that in half. You can even skip it completely if you can't have salt. Stir it up, cover the pot, and set the release valve to venting. Press slow cook until you get 2 more. And set the time for 7 hours or 12 hours, depending on the bean. In this case, we are cooking thin-skinned white beans, so I'll go with 7. Below this video, I'll list some common beans and their cooking times. And here they are after 7 hours. Make sure to test the smallest, most intact beans. Try at least 5. No need to test the ones that are bursting. Depending on the variety, some will burst. That's life. The beans should be completely creamy. Slightly undercooked beans are gross. If they are not quite there, give them another hour of cooking and test again. The best part about slow cooking is how well the cooked beans hold up while waiting for their tough bodies to finish. Let me smash a few so that you can see the texture. Look at this creaminess. I feel like I'm making an ASMR video, which means you'll either find it satisfying or disgusting. As always, beans taste best when you cool them in their liquid overnight. The texture will be better. This allows the falling apart beans to recongeal. Thank you, Alex Ashton, Olar Gan, and Robert Orr for steering me in the right direction with the slow cooking function. Here are more thought-provoking culinary tutorials for you to check out, and if you are ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.